This is our podcast, where we belly flop into the bouncy house of mystery, surrounded by conspiracies and unexplained phenomena, with theories so bizarre, they may actually make you say,
"Are they thinking with their butt?" Welcome back, everybody. I'm Katie.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Stop Thinking with Your Butt. Welcome back.
Right before we started recording, Katie started to question my...
Patriotism?
Never. She's just making fun of me for firework stuff.
This is our first recording session after
4th of July.
4th of July, the American Independence Day.
America.
To the rest of the world, Monday. We were talking about how we're getting old because we were setting off fireworks, and I'm like, oh, those are loud. I was like, oh, those Piccolo Petes are louder than I remember. And then Chris is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't have any idea what she was talking about. And then I realized she was talking about fireworks. So then it all connected. So
yeah, the fireworks that you purchased.
Yeah.
And set off.
It's okay. So,
it's all good. Okay, so
regardless of my attention span, let's figure out what is the weirdest thing that you've done or seen since we recorded. So I got something.
Yeah, go for it. Because I don't really have much this time around.
So I traveled to Virginia for work. And inside the airport in the terminal while I was waiting, I saw a person who I would consider a nerd. And I can say that because I also am a nerd.
And Chris can spot nerds like how sharks can smell blood in the water.
Well,
Chris can identify a nerd.
Well, yeah.
Within miles.
Well, you're also saying even when I was in college and whichever, if I want to figure out if there's another nerd, I just take my 20-sided dice and just shake it.
Shake it in a little can. And then they all come out of the bushes like squirrels.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like code. So I'm seeing this person and they're walking almost like they were guarding the tomb of the unknown soldier. Mm-hmm. Back and forth, really drill-like.
Yeah.
And when he paused, he whipped out a wand and started casting spells.
Verbally or just in his mind?
I think he just did it in his mind, but like Harry Potter, like casting. And then he was raising and lowering it as if it like was a weapon. And he went around, did an about face, went the other direction.
Very methodical, very structured.
You know, did some other whipping. I don't know. I'm not as big a Harry Potter fan as you are, but it was,
there is
was
some
the
form
strangest.
and skill to it.
Now, not to be stereotypical, but his mom was there too. I think it was like mid-20s, late 20s. So, come on, nerds.
Hey, no judgment.
No. You can, everyone lives their own life.
I'm curious if it was between terminals 9 and 10. And he was guarding the
I don't know what terminal I was in, and I don't even know that reference, but I'm sure it's probably Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. He's either guarding the terminal 9 3/4 or a secret entrance to the mystery of magic.
Well, good on him. Because sometimes we do things.
He's doing the damn thing.
Yeah, people don't recognize. He doesn't need recognition. He just does it selfishly.
Selflessly. Like a selfish bastard, he just does it all. That a-hole.
Let's move on here.
Yeah, okay.
Who's talking today? Am I talking? You talking?
Today.
Okay.
So today is a Katie-sode, and it was inspired by scientific discovery.
Sciencey stuff. Nice.
I know. It's going to be a little dry at the beginning, but I'm going to try to make it interesting. That's what she said.
No. So you're going to...
I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible. But it is inspired by the 10-year anniversary of the discovery of the Higgs boson particle.
Ooh. Okay.
So we're going to get there. We're going to, again, I'm doing my tail weaving.
Weave it in, babe.
There's going to be layers. And as long as you're along for the ride, you're going to enjoy each section. Understood?
Well, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Your favorite part. I'm going to cite my sources. Yay! CERN, World Science Festival, Fermilab, Nature, CBS, Office of Science, Space, BBC, Britannica, Science Focus, My Brother Mark, The Guardian, and more. And I have to reference my brother Mark because he shared his notes with me. He is a fantastic sci-fi writer, and he was doing some research on this topic for one of his stories, and so he had a lot of information to share. I'm thankful. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, my sources are more like, they're all me, mine, alone.
Guy on the corner.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts and feelings about Cello? I talk about Cello a lot. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah,
so a lot of this has to do with physics.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we know about physics? Is that physics is the science that takes a really, really long, complicated time to explain why a round ball rolls.
Yes.
So it's usually something super simple in this really complex equation. That's what we're going to do. But I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible.
I like it
because
simple.
I'm a simple person. We're going to start off with a couple things about physicists and what they know about the universe. Blank stares.
No, I'm anticipating.
So, for those of you that don't know, physicists run off a standard model, and it's pretty much the forces, the acts, and laws of nature. Gravity, electromagnetism, weak and strong interactions between particles. But there was one part.
And laws of nature cannot change, right?
Cannot change. They
Universal.
are constants.
Yeah.
Yes. There was one portion of this model that was missing.
What?
That made all their equations theoretical but impossible to solve.
Okay, but it still went to the same conclusion.
It came to the same conclusion.
But they knew there was some small variable in there?
There was something missing that might actually open up more doorways.
Okay.
So a lot of the missing factor was, where do molecules get their mass?
I never thought about that.
So molecules all have mass. It's a fact. They use it in their equations. But where's this mass coming from? This question was posed by 3 particle physicists in 1964, Engelbert, Brout, and Higgs. And
we know which one won that one.
Well, yeah. There's also a thing that says it takes one scientist to make a discovery and then 11 to co-author the paper. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's Higgs, and then the co-authors, and then the other guys. So the question was, where do molecules get their mass? And so they created this hypothesis that there's an invisible energy field that's permeating the universe, which gives mass to molecules.
So it's everywhere in the universe? Like dark matter?
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
Okay.
Oh, I think so. I don't know about that part.
Okay.
Hold on. We have someone coming on the call. Yes. Is someone there? Can you introduce yourself? Hi, my name is the invisible energy field. I'm sorry, your camera's turned off. Oh, is that better? Yes, thank you. Please continue now. Mm-hmm. Oh, now you're muted.
Oh my gosh. Keep going. I like how this invisible energy field has 1920s.
Much like my mock conference call just then. Particle physicists knew that there was a component there, but they just couldn't identify it.
That was pretty elaborate, but okay, got it.
Love elaborate. Speaking of elaborate, you should watch Chris play charades.
Oh, yeah. Whole backstory.
It's an art form. It is beautiful.
It is.
He can, just to do a snowman, he can take you through all 4 seasons, make you fall in love, break out of love.
And then you're building a snowman. And there you go.
And then your child's off to college and the answer is snowman. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So the analogy that the physicists gave for this invisible energy field is like a fish swimming through water, or actually a fish or swimmer in water. And their analogy is that a smaller, more streamlined fish, such as a barracuda, would have less interaction with the water, making its mass less. Huh. And a big fat guy would have a lot of interaction with the water and therefore more mass. And I was a little disappointed that they used the term a big fat guy.
Scientific.
These are the scientific descriptions.
Nice.
So the more it interacts with this energy field, the more mass it will have. And this energy field is being called the Higgs field. So the more a particle interacts with the Higgs field, the greater the mass will be. And there is something that we can do in relation to fish and water that we aren't able to do with particles in an invisible energy field. We can dissect water. So we know that water is made up of countless molecules of H2O.
Okay. I was thinking like
you're just like chopping it with butter knives. It's all going back together. I don't know how science.
I'm with you now. Let's keep going. Moving along.
You can break down water into molecules.
Yes, that makes sense. Move along.
We know that water is made up of countless H2O molecules. Ergo, if there is an invisible energy field, the field should also be made up of molecules. Oh my God, what were you going to say? Water. What were you going to say?
That doesn't matter. We are moving on. But you were looking at me and I had a panic moment.
You had a really confident answer on the tip of your tongue. And then as soon as I said...
It was the wrong answer. I'm glad I didn't speak.
Oh, good. Okay, so this is where the quest... So there's the Higgs field, the theoretical energy field called the Higgs field. So now scientists are starting a quest for the Higgs boson, the single particle that they can dissect from this field that will prove it exists, and they can insert it in all their equations.
No, good.
So why do we care? I don't know. So the
How does it help humanity?
The discovery of the Higgs boson particle would fill in the gaps of all these countless equations in the scientific community and potentially reveal a lot of the secrets of the cosmos, such as dark matter. And dark matter is composed of particles that do not absorb, reflect, or emit light, so they cannot be detected by observing electromagnetic radiation. Dark matter is material that cannot be seen directly and therefore is virtually impossible to study. For reference, 96% of the universe is dark matter.
Yeah, it's basically all the void.
So the astronomical observations have established the familiar matter in atoms accounts for only 4% of what we know of the cosmos. And the rest is dark matter. Yeah, so 96% of the universe, we have no idea. We can't even see it to study it. So they're hoping that with this boson particle, it'll reveal all this other extra.
No, that's interesting. See where it'll be like in 100 years when they get more studying on it.
So starting as a theory in 1964, physicists believed that if they discovered this missing energy field and extracted a particle to study, that they would be able to complete equations that could potentially unlock some, if not all, of the unknown 96% of the universe, or possibly open a gateway to hell.
Of course.
Because that is
it's the unknown.
Apparently a possibility. And I put, I insert. Yeah, ooh, nice. In 1998, CERN began the installation of the world's largest Hadron Collider, or particle smasher.
Well, wait a second. What is CERN? That sounds like something evil.
It sounds evil. Not evil. CERN stands for Council Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire. Ugh. Or, for idiots, European Council for Nuclear Research.
That was unnecessary.
And they're located on the French-Swiss border.
Okay, so it's not even
just
America.
Out of Geneva.
Okay.
It's supported globally, pretty much.
Yeah, like an international...
Exactly. Research station.
Okay.
Yeah. And since the construction of the Hadron Collider, they have received endless support for the discovery of this new particle. And on the flip side, endless scrutiny, including the staging of a human sacrifice by a group of individuals who were trying to bring negative attention to the corporation.
Oh, protesters.
Yeah. So a video was leaked of a mock occult ritual where a group of people wearing black robes pretended to stab a woman wearing a white robe in front of a statue of the Hindu god Shiva, the destroyer. At this point of the video, the person filming it from a window appears to panic, blurts out some curse words, and hides.
Are they protesting because they believe that it's going to open the gate?
They are protesting or trying to draw negative attention because they don't want CERN to be doing what they're doing. People believe that CERN is doing the exact same thing that was being done with the atom bomb.
Oh, okay.
That literally scientists had no idea what they were doing, and they weren't even sure the atom bomb would stop exploding when it started.
I heard about that, where it would be like a constant chain reaction. They were just like, well, we'll just see what happens.
So when you smash particles together, theoretically, you're making a black hole. So they're afraid that a black hole is going to be created that will eventually consume the Earth.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't know if that's exactly what this mock cult ritual was trying to dissuade CERN from doing, or why they were trying to dissuade them. Mm-hmm. But that is one of the theories around this. And the whole... Okay, so people need to just shut up and go away. The Shiva statue that is in front of CERN was a gift from India to celebrate its association with CERN, much like our Statue of Liberty was a gift from France.
Oh, okay.
The Shiva statue in the Hindu religion, Shiva practiced I'm going to say this wrong and I really apologize. Nataraja dance, which symbolizes Shakti or life force.
Okay.
So the statue Shiva does not necessarily in this instance mean we're bringing about the destroyer. CERN is bringing about the destroyer is what people are trying to say.
Okay. I wouldn't have put that together. But.
Yeah, but that's what people are saying. They're saying that Shiva, the destroyer, out in front of CERN is a premonition of things to come. That CERN is trying to bring about the end by summoning something they shouldn't tap into. So CERN is attempting to make huge advances in science, but their goals and the work of CERN's nearly 3,000 scientists has others in fear of what may follow in the wake of their discovery. Now let's talk about the Large Hadron Collider. And
how large is it?
I'll tell you how large it is. It's so large!
That's what she said. You're welcome.
Touche! Fist bump on that one. That was good timing. Excellent delivery. So it's located, like I said, on the French-Swiss border, but it's below ground, 100 meters, or if you're an idiot, 328 feet. And it took approximately 10 years to complete and billions of dollars.
How many whales deep is it?
Oh, it is about 320. I'm going to say 80 whales. Is that about right?
Yeah, I'll give
80
that to
whales, maybe 120 blimps.
Just stop.
See, if you take a person, you flip them end over end. How many people deep is that? I don't know. So about 328 feet, or for the rest of the world, 100 meters.
Oh, wait a second. 100 meters is how many feet did you just say?
328.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Because 1 meter is 3 feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or like a little bit more or something like that. So.
You could delete that. That was just, I thought you said like 3,000 and something. I'm like, whoa, what?
So the reasons for making it and the reasons for constructing it underground are pretty mundane reasons. So number one, scientists knew that the machine needed to, like in all their equations that they were working on, they knew that in order to achieve what they wanted to, the machine was going to have to be massive.
Yeah. Oh, and Europe's pretty small, so it's kind of hard to have like a massive stuff on the ground. Yeah.
So they knew it was going to be massive, and I'll tell you how massive. But they also knew that it was going to be very intricate and really delicate. And so the best way to ensure optimal machine performance was to keep it out of the elements and away from any possible interference from the public.
That makes sense.
Another reason is that if by some chance the Hadron Collider emitted radiation that they didn't account for,
oh, okay,
people living on the surface or the surface environment would be unaffected because radiation only penetrates, that's what she said, 10 feet worth of ground. And lastly, should there be an explosion,
it's self-contained.
It would be contained in the safest way possible. I said that the Hadron Collider was large.
Yes.
It is constructed of magnetized casings that complete an almost 17-mile round circle. So it's 17 miles of magnetic casing formed into a circle. I think of the casings as kind of like a Russian nesting doll where there's like layers within layers, or an onion.
Okay.
So there's a casing and then there's smaller casings within, and then there's wiring and casing and smaller things within. So
sure.
It's smaller. But the outer casing is filled with liquid helium and cooled to a temperature of negative 271 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Which is even colder than outer space.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy that we even know that, but that's cool. The reason for this temperature is to keep the magnets cool and other sciencey things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it simple.
Yeah. So the temperature affects the way particles interact with the machine, and I'm too dumb to explain it any
Science.
I know that certain particles...
You don't need to explain like how it works.
Okay, so certain particles respond at different temperatures, like water boils at 100 degrees.
Oh, that's true, because the hotter it gets, causes those molecules to get more kinetic and vibrate and so on. So,
so the temperature has to...
So you need to like keep it still.
Exactly.
Oh.
Does that kind of... I was like,
yeah, of course. Okay. Like I just answered it for you.
Okay, so summary, it's underground, it's huge, it's really cold. And you did answer it. And now it's going to blow shit up.
Okay.
Whoa!
4th of July!
4th of July, America! Well, this is French Swiss. Sorry, we're still celebrating. We're a little proud. Using math and sciencey science, physics are able to launch beams of hydrogen protons in opposite directions of the Hadron Collider. So with assistance from the magnets in the casings, the protons will be continuously accelerating through the tubing until nearly the speed of light, because right now nothing is faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
And if you slow it down, it kind of looks like a strand of spaghetti. So you think like this 17-mile round subway system. Mm-hmm. That's how I'm going to think of it as. So the 17-mile subway system for protons, each beam is to be imagined as like the size and width and circumference of a spaghetti noodle.
Okay.
So it's being launched one direction and another beam is being launched another direction. And once at full speed, they will come to a head-on collision and bust apart.
I'm envisioning 2 spaghetti noodles colliding and busting apart. Not,
Okay, it's going to be even more fun when I use this as an analogy.
Oh, give me a better one.
So I know that
Better than wet noodles.
Yeah, better than wet noodles. But at the point of collision is where it can be studied. So when it's breaking apart, they can take the parts that come from it, reverse engineer them, and the part that they don't understand should be left over.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
So let's all imagine that the Hadron Collider is a subway system
Okay.
with no platforms for loading or unloading.
Super unsafe, but go ahead.
Yeah, just a continuous, never-ending loop. And the particles are the passengers. But for this example, I thought it'd be more fun to actually visualize passengers.
Okay.
So we're going to slingshot a ton of people this way. Whee!
I don't know if they'll be saying.
And a ton of people this way. Oh my God!
Stop. Why
And
are you
after
doing
they've
this?
accelerated to the near speed of light, they will come around full circle and come to a mutual head-on collision.
Oh, that's horrible.
And break apart.
Ugh.
So the great thing is that we know what people are made of, like blood, guts, hair, complex feelings and emotions, poor decision-making skills, and so on and so forth. But in the real scenario, in the real, what they're really doing, in the real, they're colliding protons in order to reverse engineer them with the elements that they know in attempts to find that missing piece.
Thank you for tuning that analogy.
Yeah. Wasn't that more fun?
It was. How many did they throw? Like I knew you said a bunch of like a handful of protons. How many can
So
what do they
because
normally
the
do?
protons are so stinking small, it's an estimated 115 billion particles in each beam. And they have to circle, hundreds, thousands of times before a collision actually happens. Because there's so many, it's so likely that they will just pass by each other because they're so small.
That makes sense. So you have to almost wait for chance for it to hit.
It's exactly.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they have to constantly run this.
Or sustain
this momentum to
okay.
keep this collision happening because it's not going to happen every time.
Yeah.
And so to help them with that process, because 115 billion particles traveling at near the speed of light for 10 to 20 hours, what are you going to see with your eye? Nothing. So along this Hadron Collider, there are 8 kind of like observation posts. They're called detection posts. And it's their job to see the collision and slow it down and like make it visible for us. And these detection points are Atlas, Alice, CMS, Totem, LHCb, LHCF, Modal, and Phaser.
What was that old girlfriend names? What the hell was that?
I don't know. I'm like, ooh, Alice. I'm like, who's Modal and Phaser? They probably all stand for something that,
Yeah, something personal. Like
Yeah, and then I'm like, LHCb. Come on now, that's just lazy. Why couldn't they have named that like... Our cat just fell off the window, if you heard that. He's adorable. In 2008, the hypotheses were in place. The Hadron Collider was complete, and it was ready for its first glorious run.
I feel like it was so much older than that. I didn't realize it was 2008.
That's only what?
Or maybe I've been hearing about it while they're building it.
Maybe.
Right, because it
it
started
in 1998 is when it first started being built.
probably
So they
why.
probably started talking about it then.
Yeah,
But it was switched on September 10th, 2008, with all fingers crossed, because literally no one had any idea what was going to happen. They were like, oh my God, I hope it works.
It's going to turn into a Stranger Things.
And somebody else was like, what works? And everybody else was like, I have no idea. Yeah, Stranger Things, exactly. So they actually hadn't introduced protons into the collider yet. They were still doing power runs and system checks and making sure that everything was in order. And so they had been running it for 9 days, which I think is a pretty thorough test. Yeah. So they were running it for 9 days, and a faulty electronic connection caused a couple of the magnets to overheat and melt. Oh. And this triggered an explosion of pressurized helium gas.
Wow, that seems...
causing billions worth of damage.
I was going to say, that seems like it's going to be pretty significant.
Yeah. So within seconds, 2,000 kilograms of liquid helium escaped explosively, damaging 53 magnets in all and setting back the start of the project by 14 months.
14 months. That's a long time.
Over a year.
And that's why you do it underground.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, think if they did it above ground. And then all the flack and feedback they get. People will be like, you scientists don't know what you're doing. Like, we had no control. It was Gary. In engineering. It's always Gary in engineering. Freaking Gary. So this is when people started to jump to conclusions. Why did the Hadron Collider, the most advanced particle accelerator, why did it explode?
No, because it's so good new technology.
Yeah, the best.
Maybe
of the
there's
best,
something
the
nefarious.
Brightest of the brightest. Yes, like the universe is conspiring against CERN because they don't want CERN to make any new discovery that might change or alter any form of reality. I don't know.
So the multiverse.
Start inserting Terminator references, plot lines, imagery, etc.
Okay.
So
Did they send a Terminator back or something?
They probably will. Well, they're going to send something back. I'll tell you in just a second what that's going to be. So after a 14-month delay, the Hadron Collider was switched on again. But as it would turn out, a bird had dropped part of a baguette into the above-ground electrical system, blocking a component and significantly overheating the accelerator.
What are the odds? That sounds astronomically improbable.
Like the universe is conspiring. Don't you think?
Well, now I was going to put another reference of birds, robots, and whatever.
Yeah. The collider was eventually cleared of the baguette debris and began functioning as intended.
I can just see one of the scientists or the facilities managers on the top of the surface just screaming at the employees, "Clean your goddamn breakfast off the floor!"
And he carries over at engineering with a sandwich
with a bunch of crumbs.
That only has half a baguette on it.
Yeah.
Gary, my gosh.
Yes.
So again, the universe is trying to stop the start of the Hadron Collider. Now, according to some, by sending animals back in time to shut down the machine.
Animal warriors. I wonder if because all the humans killed themselves or
I don't know. Yeah, if they had to send animals back in time. Oh, crap. Didn't think about that.
There's no one else.
There's a fox on a radio and he's like, send in the squirrel. And there's a squirrel with a backpack and grappling hook.
Well, so if we had these Terminator animals, bird.
Can you imagine a squirrel metal liquid morphing out of the tree?
That would be a little scary. I would just... you're done. What are you going to do? So, okay, so they thought that the universe and animals were attacking it or being sent?
So the bird had intentionally sabotaged the machine. So fortunately or unfortunately, the Hadron Collider continues to work as planned for the next several years. And scientists continue to run experiments, gathering information, and adjusting their hypotheses, etc. So finally, here we go. So finally in 2012, Detection Point Alice made the discovery that everyone had been waiting for.
Good job, Alice.
And nerds went nuts. So the Detection Point Alice saw and found the Higgs boson, the particle from the Higgs field. So now it's been confirmed that this energy field does exist, and here are the particles to prove it. So,
congratulations.
I know. Particle physicists discovered what they were looking for. They confirmed the energy field that provides particles with mass. They now have the missing piece to solve mysteries of dark matter. So keep in mind, they didn't just find it once. They revealed that they discovered it in 2012, but they had been running this experiment and replicating it hundreds and thousands of times to definitively say,
this is
Eureka.
We got it. Okay. Yeah, repeat success.
Yes. So in 2012, they said with definite certainty, I don't know, what's a better way of saying that? With concrete evidence.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a dark matter of a doubt, that they had found this Higgs boson. A Higgs boson walks into a church.
Okay.
The priest says, "You can't come in here. We don't allow Higgs bosons." The Higgs boson says, "But without me, how can you have mass?"
Oh my gosh. I'm glad you found that. Or created that.
No, I found it.
No, it's okay. I was going to give you credit.
Nerds get excited about.
But wait a second. So similar to, the 2000 where there's like the Y2K and they thought the whole world's going to fall apart or even the Mayan calendar or Phil prophecies. So it happened, but there was no black hole. There was not a gate to hell. Did all the protests and everyone go, oh, well, okay. And they just moved on? Or do you still have people like...
There's still people who are like, CERN is just keeping a bunch of dirty secrets.
They're keeping that portal to themselves.
Exactly.
Oh.
And we have to stop it before it gets out of hand. Let me continue.
You're really passionate about that.
So now nerds all over the world are geeking out. So now what? So in 2013, the Hadron Collider was shut down for maintenance and improvements because what's the one thing we know about particle physicists?
Make it... I don't...
They're never satisfied.
Oh.
Right? You can't satisfy a physicist. So... The plan was to restart the Hadron Collider in 2015 and continue to test old hypotheses, continue conducting experiments, looking for new information, and confirming the consistency of old knowledge that they already had.
Yeah, they're just
making sure that all the other laws are functioning the way they're supposed to be functioning. All these different variables are responding the way they're supposed to be responding.
Science.
And science.
Complete.
And periodic table inserted in somewhere, and aluminium.
So now what are they doing?
So they're still doing that. Yeah, so it was shut down in 2013. And so the plan was to restart the Hadron Collider in 2015. So in 2015, the Hadron Collider is turned back on. But it gets shut down abruptly in April 2016 when a weasel chews its way through an electrical cable, shutting down the collider.
A weasel. Oh my God, another Terminator animal.
Yes. This weasel's...
We're 100 meters down. Was it up above the surface?
I don't know. Aren't weasels burrowing animals? But yeah, how the heck? He would have had to take an elevator. He would have had to get a multi-pass. So, this is what he did. He followed a scientist home in their handbag. Waited for them to fall asleep. Did some Mission Impossible stuff with facial recognition. Maybe made a mask. Maybe got an eyeball replica.
Yep, silicone, got it.
Yeah. Went and then chloroformed the scientists in their sleep. Then, very small legs. I don't think that he would have been able to drive their car to work the next day. Maybe got a ride.
Carpool.
The pigeon that dropped the baguette carried it back to CERN, where the weasel then used his new identification card, his eyeball replica, the silicone face, maybe some thumbprint recognition, to take the elevator down 328 feet to, quote unquote, chew, or rather, saw through with their electron... No?
No, I think there's a simpler solution to this, or reason for this.
This is pretty simple.
No, it wasn't really a weasel. It was a ferret. And Gary was trying to do a show and tell with his
Gary in engineering brought his pet ferret
and
to
lost
work.
it.
Oh, freaking Gary.
He was too embarrassed to tell anyone, but
I would be too embarrassed. It's freaking scary.
so I think mine's more plausible.
I think so too. So this poor weasel's charred remains were recovered, preserved, and put on display at the Smithsonian under a headline, "The Weasel That Brought Down Particle Physics."
Can I do a quick production story real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So talking about like weasels and animals and so on, I used to work at Kraft Foods as a production supervisor.
Oh, gross. I don't want to think of like animals in the food industry.
We had a bird get into the pasta. So I was in the pasta department, get into like the mac and cheese area. And it was flying around. Every time it flies around, we got to call pest control to come out and try to catch it. But we have to have eyes on it. And it went to one of our machines and we lost sight of it.
Oh, no.
And we thought we all cleared it out. And then we started the machine up. And apparently it went to one of our cheese press type of things. And it was crushed. And so we had to sanitize that out.
I don't think I remember that story.
No, but I remember the bird it was hiding, and then we turned everything on, and it was just like,
oh my gosh, that is so gross.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for sanitizing everything afterwards.
No, we don't. It's food industry. We got to sanitize.
Yeah, you got to. The Hadron Collider was repaired, and business continued as normal until November 2016, less than a year later. Another weasel.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Chews through another electrical cable. Gary brought
he bought another
one. And he's like, this time it'll be different. Okay.
This one will call his other mate back to him.
Yeah, exactly. So this weasel also died.
Jeez.
And it's dubbed CERN Weasel 2.
CERN Weasel 2.
But this one did not make the display. The constant interference from the weasel population and the already lingering theory that the universe is fighting back with time-traveling animals leads some people to continue down this rabbit hole and believe that the weasel's interference has in fact launched us into an alternate reality called the weaselverse.
We are in the weaselverse.
Weaselverse.
I'm curious if there's other weasel attacks elsewhere, right?
Okay, I didn't put this in. I have several editions of this.
Like a well-known scientist gets his jugular ripped off by a weasel.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Right? Murder.
Ferrets, you may know this, are illegal in a lot of states.
Yeah, because they eat babies.
That could be a myth. That could be a total myth. But from what I understand,
we knew it.
Ferrets are attracted to baby scent,
soft skin
or easy targets. I'm not sure, and so that could even be one of those things where you're just told from a young age, like eating carrots makes your eyes better, and it's not. It's just propaganda.
Or they just see it as food and they're like, oh, what's this?
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe they were time traveled back to the future to assassinate baby Hitler.
I think they have their own agenda. They're not working on our timeline agenda.
Yeah. So in my attempts to make this story as simple and uncomplicated as possible,
well,
I have several. I'm trying my best. I have several editions of this.
Go ahead.
Of my 8-page essay.
Sure.
And in one of them, I talk about in 2006, apparently there was an orchestrated group of raccoons that descended upon a plant in Illinois.
Okay.
To sabotage their accelerator.
Was it anyway
because
tied?
there's particle accelerators all over the world, but the Large Hadron Collider on the French-Swiss border by CERN is the largest, most sophisticated.
So they're attacking the whole network.
Yeah. Their net is cast wide.
Okay, got it. Makes sense.
They're getting weasels involved, birds.
I'm buying it.
Raccoons. Who's next? Toucans? I can see toucans.
I think it's the rodents. Just rodents.
Just rodents. Okay.
No, they got the damn birds. Forgot about that baguette.
Okay.
What was it, like 10 minutes ago?
According to weaselverse theorists, our shift into the weaselverse is the reason behind every negative thing that has ever happened since 2015.
like, I love conspiracies, but like, how I wouldn't even enjoy writing that theory. Does that make sense?
You wouldn't take pride in
I wouldn't
coming
take
up
pride
with
in it. I would read it and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, and then move on.
I'd put it back in like my notebook and put it in my file. But then I'd be afraid that someone would find it like after my death and then publish it, and then I'd still like in the grave. I'd be like, oh,
or who knows? Maybe we're wrong.
Maybe we are.
Yeah, maybe we are in the
weaselverse. Right. Okay, negative things that have happened. So this was kind of a stretch.
You think?
Did I say how long? It was just a few days after the collider was turned back on that Harambe, a 17-year-old lowland gorilla, was killed at the Cincinnati Zoo after a 3-year-old boy fell into the enclosure.
Okay.
So the gorilla's death, it's because of the weaselverse. Or the boy falling in. The boy falling in, weaselverse. The gorilla getting killed, weaselverse's fault. The presidential outcome, weaselverse.
Wait
cauliflower pizza crust, weaselverse.
COVID, are they saying everything?
Weaselverse. People saying yeet yeet, weaselverse.
No, that's a good thing.
Every negative anything.
I'm sorry. I roll.
is because of the weaselverse.
Sure.
Okay. As long as we're all in agreement.
Poop on it.
And if time-traveling animals can affect our reality, it makes you wonder what outcomes they've already impacted. If birds hadn't forced Captain Sully to land his plane in the Hudson River, maybe something more catastrophic would have happened further down the line. If a goose didn't break Fabio's nose on the roller coaster in 1999, what would the world be like today?
Oh, it's like the butterfly effect.
Maybe Armageddon. Who knows?
Yeah, ripple. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've said it before.
Yes.
And I couldn't be more supportive. The animals always know.
They do. When did I say that?
Oh, gosh. Oh, it's so exhausting keeping up with you.
I say a lot of great things.
You do say a lot of great things. Just know that you said that.
I'll support this.
The animals always know. So whether we are in a weaselverse or not, the Hadron Collider was repaired and functioning again until 2018, when it was again shut down for 3 years of scheduled maintenance. With delays, as it always happens with physics and such, the Hadron Collider wasn't restarted again until April this year, 2022.
This year?
Mm-hmm. And has been functioning without incident since. Now, so kind of like how they started it in 2008, they always run it for system errors and things like that, processing, before they actually put the protons into the machine and get it running.
What other animal attack happened?
No other animal. Well, if people are animals, people were way attacking, because the third run, the third experimental run of this shooting the proton beams and creating the collisions, started on July 5th, 2022.
Oh, that was just like not that long ago.
Just a few days ago. Happy anniversary. And they've had a lot of success with these experiments. And so people were, let me read you a quote from ye old internet. So a couple people were tweeting. One tweet is, "Be ready for July 5th, everyone. That's all I'm saying." And then they go on. Protect your energy. Be alert. Don't do things that lower your vibration, your energy, or your focus. CERN will be opening a portal on July 5th. They began getting it ready when the planets aligned on June 24th.
How convenient.
How convenient.
So I was also doing, because I'm on Twitter too, and I look at a lot of conspiracies. One thing I heard was some people think that when these things collide, that it actually opens up not just like a physical portal that stays open for like a long period of time, but think of it as something that opens up just for a split second. Well, what can travel in a split second?
Light.
A soul. A spirit.
Oh.
In and out.
So here we go.
Oh, okay. You're going to talk more about this?
Reasons why people are quaking in their boots and trying to stop CERN. Why people are so anti-science in this aspect. Some people believe that the Hadron Collider will create a black hole that will consume the Earth. And they're not that wrong.
Well, I mean, even if it does create like a miniature small black hole, they've done this multiple times at this point. So it's not like it started small and then like a snowball kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes down the hill.
But, okay, so here we go. When these protons collide inside the collider, they actually are creating super, super tiny black holes.
Okay.
And they're decaying. They're calling it decaying very quickly. So this black hole is
unsustainable.
It's unsustainable. It's disappearing at 10 to the minus 27 seconds.
No, not worried about that.
But if we don't understand black matter, is it still there?
Well,
Has it left a residue?
No, it says decays.
How do we know?
Sciencey things. And we've been doing this for like a while now.
For 14 years?
I'm not worried.
So black holes are being created. But we were talking a little bit about this. So black holes, they suck in matter. They like are vacuums of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're full of black matter. We don't understand them.
Yeah.
So creating them without understanding them may have repercussions.
Yes, but then they put the decay piece part. So I'm like,
I know. It's like probably so like impossible. But what if out of those 115 billion particles that get shot, like 5 of them collide at the same time, 6 of them collide at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like one tiny black hole, and now you have like maybe a bigger black hole that might not decay as quickly or doesn't decay at all.
Nope.
Thank you for your open-minded opinion.
No problem. You're welcome.
So with that, and then you just said it yourself. When you open a portal, what can travel through it? A soul.
Yeah, spirit. I would totally buy that more than the black hole. Oh, don't you dare. Don't give me that look of shock.
As if I just walked in on someone getting dressed. So this goes to the whole opening doorways to other dimensions. What could get through? What could we unintentionally send through?
Yeah.
Some scientists, even including Stephen Hawking, have said that bending space-time is theoretically possible, lending many conspiracy theorists to expand on their musings in every direction. Some saying that they can potentially create wormholes to other universes or other realities, or even open the gateway to hell. So that's why a lot of people are like, CERN, what you doing?
I'm not really worried about the reality piece, but I can see out of all those different ones, the spirit piece is the one that I'm nailing. I'll fall my sword on that one.
Oh, okay. So before the Hadron was initially started back in 2008, a person tweeted, "In 8 hours, the gates of hell will be opened. The trans-dimensional reptilian beings are coming for you and your family. This is not a drill." I thought you'd like that part.
Thank you. I do. Not only do I like it, I'm sure our audience likes it too.
I'm sure they do too. So, do with that what you will.
So what did you haven't said?
Hold on. There's another belief. There's actually a couple more beliefs really quick here.
Yeah.
One is that CERN is using this discovery of the Higgs boson particle as like a coup.
For what?
A ploy to distract you from the fact that they're really trying to contact God.
And that's why they called it
It has the nickname the God particle, which the physicists hate for you to say that. One physicist, Gary in engineering, when the Higgs boson particle was discovered, Gary in engineering was like, "Wow, if you guys really want attention, you should call it something cool." And all the particle physicists were like, "No, let's call it what it is."
Yeah, let's use my last name,
Higgs, because I discovered it.
And then go from
Boson being smaller than an atom particle, and let's just call it what it is. And then Gary's like, "But wouldn't it just get more attention if you called it the God particle?" And everyone else is like, "No, Gary.
God damn it, Gary.
Go catch your ferret. Or get your baguette sandwich and pet ferret out of here."
But somehow
CERN Weasel 3.
that guy got his name named it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because it has this nickname as being the God particle, people are way jumping on that train and saying that CERN is really trying to contact God.
Through the spirits.
Exactly. And so the last conspiracy states that one goal of the Hadron Collider is to access a hidden shadow realm. So they believe that this dark matter contains a shadow universe.
I'm sorry. I should hold off on some of my reactions because I'm trying. You know me. I try to stay open with a lot of some of the stuff.
But you're doing a lot of heavy side.
I'm doing a lot of heavy side on this one.
See how excited my eye movement is right now?
Your face is
exciting.
Crazy.
So CERN is trying to summon shadow people to our plane of existence.
Yeah, by that.
And the only reason why that hits home is because I had a very real personal experience with shadow people. And I will talk about that in another episode. But for now, that's all I have on the Hadron Collider and the discovery of the Higgs boson.
So I've been sighing and saying yay, nay, and some of these things. You haven't really picked one or gave your impression. Do any of those speak to you?
If I may reference one of my favorite movies, Jurassic Park. The character Malcolm. The chaotician. Well, there you have it. It's very much the same principle. How can we really control something that we don't understand? So in our attempts for discovery, I am concerned that we might do something unintentional because 96% of the universe we do not understand.
Mm-hmm. That was well said.
Was that well said?
That was well said.
Okay, good.
Appreciate
So
it.
how can we possibly know what the ramifications are going to be when we only know the tiniest portion of existence?
Hey, just because we don't know something doesn't mean we shouldn't open that door and discover it.
With our children.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to go in there. Let's send them in first. Send the women and children.
Yeah. Women and children first, elderly next.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's your major takeaway? Final thoughts and so on.
My major takeaway is it really is our motto. Keep it curious. Be wonderful. Wonder.
Wonderful is a good thing.
Wonder. Be wonderful. And be afraid a little bit. Always wear clean underwear. I feel like I need to say that.
Well, also, sometimes
you never know what's going to happen when it's going to happen. Clean underwear.
I almost thought you said wet is going to happen.
What?
I know.
Maybe I shouldn't.
Wet also matches.
Yeah.
My takeaway is sometimes sciencey things are just sciencey. It doesn't have to be nefarious to do this, right. But I do like and do understand where if it is an unknown and if you believe in these, whether there's a spirits, different multiverse, and you're playing with unknown, I feel like there's a part of you that's like, I hope it does. I hope it proves me right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fascinating to hear and think about the different possibilities.
I will always be hoping for a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Until it happens and
I'll be like, I told you so.
In the woods.
Damn it.
It's going to be fun for a little bit.
It's fun for a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. If you want to contact us, tell us what you thought.
Think of the show.
Yeah. Tell us what's on your mind. Share with us some ideas for future episodes. Give us some advice, some which I'll ignore, but you can do so at stopthinkingwithyourbutt@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at stopthinkingwithyourbutt or Twitter at stopthinkingwib. And if you have the time and the heart,
we would love for you to leave us a review on any of the podcast platforms that you use to listen to our awesome show. So yeah, please write reviews and rate it because the more ratings that we get allows us to be put in front.
To reach a bigger audience.
Yeah. You know how those
popularity contests work. Yeah.
Yeah. And bots. They do their piece.
The more we're rated and reviewed, the more people will be able to access information for our show.
Yeah. And I challenge everyone that is listening, even if you're listening to us and this is the first episode, and you're like, let me give these people a try. Tell one friend.
Are you doing a pyramid scheme now?
No, we don't get paid for this.
Your one friend will tell one other friend.
Hey, I'm okay with that. That's fine. But no, but tell one friend that you think, because you know your friends more than we do.
Yeah.
And introduce them if you like the show.
Yeah.
So we can grow, because we want to grow. And what allows us to grow is more followers, more input, more ratings. So we can make great content.
Yeah. We really enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun and we want to keep doing it. We just need to hear from you. Shout out to our current listeners. You guys are the OGs.
Stay curious.
And stop thinking with your butt.
Out.
Blood, guts, hair, complex feelings and emotions, poor decision-making skills,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth.